You want to lose weight, get results, but which calorie tracking apps actually make it simple and which ones are wasting your time? I've been coaching people to get in shape without obsessing over every single gram for the last 6 years, and I know that picking the right apps can be the difference between massive frustration and a very good progress. In this video, I'll show you what separates the great calorie tracking apps from the rest, why some of the biggest names in the industry actually hold you back, and which apps do I use with my clients to get fast, simple and accurate results. I've tested all the major apps before recording this video to ensure I can give you the best advice possible, and I compared them with the ones that I use with my clients. And to be honest, I did not change anything. In this video, you'll know why. So this video is not sponsored by any of the major apps, any of the minor apps. This video is based just on what I know from my last 6 years of professional coaching. Quickly before I continue with the video, please subscribe to this channel. It's a brand new channel and I need all the support I can get. It's going to be a huge task ahead of me trying to build this thing up from the ground, but I know I can do it. I know I have the knowledge and I have the support, and I know I will give you value that will change your life. So click subscribe. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Let's dive in. So first of all, the calorie tracking apps are not here to solve all your problems. They're not a magic solution. And we'll dive into some of the most popular apps in a minute to show you how they're actually not really helping you. They're trying to sell you their services. For some people, I'm sure that will be helpful. They can still give you a lot of information. But if you're somebody who wants to get to the point and get to the results, you need simplicity, and they're not helping you with that. The best thing about tracking your calories in general is actually that you're getting educated about the foods that you're eating. It's not that you're just super precise, because that precision that we get from the calorie tracking is something that is not really necessary for 99% of the population. For you to get results such as losing 1 to 2 pounds of body fat per week, building muscle, getting lean, you don't need to be extremely strict, but you have to have very good awareness and very good habits in the 24-hour cycle of the day to ensure you're not making mistakes and you're eating the right foods. But when it comes down to precision, that's more very beneficial for athletes and people who do this professionally and want to get to that very fine edge of their performance, the way they look, the way they perform. For you, you need simplicity and you need something to teach you, and that's where calorie tracking apps are very helpful. So if you imagine your diet right now, if you visualize all the foods that you're currently eating in your day-to-day life, the foods that your wife cooks, the foods that you buy from the shops, the things that you have stored in the fridge, I assume that the variety is not that huge. You probably have about 50 different types of foods in your diet, and you're just constantly rotating them every single day. So how many times do you think it's going to require you to read the label for every single food for you to learn what it's actually made of? How many calories it has? Is it carbohydrates? Is it proteins? Is it fats? Roughly what it actually is. And it's not much. The answer is really not much. You'll probably go through these foods a few times and you'll start learning them. And that's where the power of calorie tracking really kicks in. Keep in mind, for you to transform, for you to change, to lose weight or to build muscle and to transform, you need to build these habits and build a new lifestyle. You have 24-hour cycle of the day, and the gains are not made just in the kitchen. The gains are not just made in the gym. The gains are made in every single minute of that day, because the slip-ups that you're going to be doing with some foods that you should not be eating, adding a little bit of sugar here, a little bit more fats there, these are the things that will actually cost you the success and the body that you really dream of. You have to build solid, robust habits, and that's not going to happen if you don't have really solid, robust awareness of what you're consuming, what you're putting in your mouth. So the calorie tracking apps are going to teach you that. And then once you learn it, you don't need to continue tracking your calories all the time to continue getting results. I have a special course designed to teach you how to exactly manage your food intake to ensure you get results and build sustainable, lasting habits. How to make it a lifestyle without feeling like you have to cook all the time, like you have to do some special things, but make it so you're fit all the time naturally, because that's the way you live and you can't get it wrong. There is a course. If you click on the link in the video, it's on my website pk.coach, and you scroll down to the bottom. The course is totally free, does not require any sign-ups, no emails, nothing. You just go click and watch. One of the videos is about the food, how to manage it, how to manage your plates. the habits that you have to build up. Now, before I dive into the apps that we should be using, that I recommend to my clients and that I use myself and why I use them, I want to quickly touch on the apps that we should avoid. And I will probably mention just a couple of names here, but keep in mind there are many. This industry is huge, and you have to understand that everything that we do here, it can make a lot of money for some people, especially if they have a huge audience. So if I can create an app and I can tell you that this app is AI app, and it's going to solve all the problems for you, it's going to get you fit, it's going to know everything for you, it's going to just cost you $10, the chances are I can probably sell you on that. And if I have an audience of millions of people, app makes a lot of money. But that doesn't mean it's actually working, and doesn't mean it's going to fit your lifestyle. A lot of the apps that you are going to download, like Macro Factor, like Noom, and some of these popular names, which probably rank up very high on YouTube too when you search for calorie tracking apps, they're actually designed just to make money. And they have some very smart ideas behind them. I actually like the way they think, the way they're trying to solve a problem, and I'm sure they solve it for a lot of people. But if you're somebody who has a busy schedule, who wants to get the job done, this is the worst thing you can do, is just go to some of these apps. The moment you open them, you're gonna spend like half an hour filling up forms. They will ask you for your mother's maiden name. They will ask you for absolutely everything about you, pretending that this is what they need to create a personalized advice, a diet for you. And in the end, it's not gonna be personalized, it's gonna be absolutely super generic, because real personalization, I will explain what it actually looks like, because I'm personalizing everything for my clients and it's nothing like what these apps do. Real personalization is me stepping into the kitchen, it could be virtually or in real life, seeing what these people eat and telling them, from this you're gonna eat a little bit less, from this you're gonna eat a little bit more, this is better you have for breakfast, and that is better you have for dinner. That is what personalization is. We're not asking you to change the way you cook, the foods that you eat, the recipes and anything. Just make little adjustments and still eat the foods that you eat. And if there's something to avoid, I'll ask you to avoid. And that's what personalization is. These apps can't do that. So practically all the advice is kind of useless, because if you see for yourself, if you try to change your diet and follow all these strict guidances that these apps give you, it's gonna make you feel like shit, you'll drop off, it's not gonna stick. And for you to have a lasting change, to really transform, you have to look into a long-term project. That's your life. You want to be changing, continue improving over years, like 1, 2, 3 years. You want to keep building up nice habits and keep changing. And if this thing is frustrating, if it requires you to fill up long forms, if it's so complicated, it always gives you some smart ideas, you're missing the whole point. Instead of simplifying things for you, it is overcomplicating them. And that's why it's never gonna stick for you. So if you want an app that works, it has to be simple. So what do we actually need from a simple app for tracking calories and macros? I have right now opened the chronometer app, which is one of my favorite ones. What I need, really, a plus button. Add foods in different ways. I can add food by typing the food manually using the keyboard. I have to be able to scan, that saves a lot of time, scan the label of the food. A lot of the foods come with a label, nutrition label, with a barcode. You scan it, everything is in there, the food is in the database. If it's not, you can easily add it, so that's very helpful. A lot of you will be asking to scan for apps that can scan right now your food by using the camera and just detect what's in the plate and put everything in. That also is available, and that feature is not free on any app out there. So this feature is available in here if you want to pay for it, but I'll touch on that in a second. So besides having that super simplistic way of using it, you want this to happen, first of all, super quickly. You want this to be happening like the moment you open the app. If you're having an app that once you open it starts prompting you with pop-ups and ideas and things that overwhelm you, that's going to add friction to you building these habits, and you're going to stop using the app. And I'm telling you from experience, super important that this doesn't happen. It has to be super easy, fast and simple to use. So it has to be fast, simple. It has to have a dashboard where it shows you all the calories that you've consumed, the protein, the carbs and the fats. And if you want to break it down, it has to have the option to show you maybe salt, so you can learn about the micronutrients in the foods that you eat, which if you watch my course, you will know that's absolutely not necessary. That is the point where you're overwhelming yourself with things that you should not. And the last thing that you really need from an app is actually to have a huge database of food. A lot of the apps who are very popular, they still don't have a huge database. Especially if you're living, for example, in Europe or in Dubai. You often go to the shops, or me here in Vietnam. You go to the shops and you find foods that don't exist on the app, and then you have to start adding them manually. So if that happens, you at least want the app to allow you to add the foods manually, very easy and simple. Chronometer lets me do that. The two favorite apps that I'm using that cover all these things are Chronometer and MyFitnessPal. And they're old school apps and they're very simple, and you might be expecting something better, but they're the apps that add no friction to your journey. They're the apps that are here to serve you. The app has to track the food, it has to review the data, it has to be simple, it has to have all the database with the foods so you can use it and get the job done. Once you see how many calories you've eaten, how many carbs and fats and proteins you've eaten, and what you have left for the day, you practically don't need to use these apps for anything else. If all the advice they start giving you later on that is overwhelming you, it might be helpful for some of you to give you some ideas, but the chances these apps don't know you as well. They really don't. Unless they fit in your shoes, they get to learn about your daily thinking and habits and your personality. We're not there yet. They still can't give you the best feedback. These are the apps, Chronometer and MyFitnessPal. You can download them, you can use them for totally free. If you want to pay, the subscriptions are about $10 price, where you can add some more features, make them look a little bit better. You'll have the ability to scan the food. Now, this is probably the only reason why I would pay for this, to scan the food. It can save a lot of time, but still, if you're a complete newbie, that's probably just gonna mess you up because the scanners are not good yet either. We're 2026 right now approaching, and AI is just not there yet. It is very hard to identify exactly what foods are in your plate. And they might look like, for example, just potatoes. But there's a huge difference between potatoes cooked from Sainsbury's or cooked from some restaurant or cook at home. Some people, some cooks use fats, more fats, some use creams. You don't know what are they using, and these things make a huge difference in your diet. You have to be precise. So the app has to be able to give you the exact value for the foods that you're eating. And a tip for you that I will give you for the way you use the app is to focus on single ingredient foods when you're eating. When you're putting food in your plate, ordering your foods, try to make sure they're cleaned, they're not mixed up with many other foods together, like mixed up with creams, make sure the chicken, for example, is not mixed up with the rice. Kind of try to order the foods so they're separate, so you can then weigh them separately and add the data separately in the app. You have to track everything with super precision. If you just say, I will put some roasted potatoes, and you just select the first thing that comes on the list, the difference in the calories can be between 200 to 300 calories, depending on the restaurant you order it from. And that is just not going to work. The only reason these things work is because they give you with some precision exactly what you're eating. And if you mess up that precision, you're going to go sideways and it's not going to work for you. Make sure that you use the apps to educate yourself. Make sure you're not overcomplicating, you're not relying completely on these apps. Use them to gain the knowledge and learn. When you put something in the app, take a note, mental note of it, and understand what are you eating and start building up these habits. How can you continue eating in future without using the apps? My free course will help you. Go to the website, scroll to the bottom, no emails, nothing, just watch it. It can really help you understand how to do these things, together with many other stuff. Also, one thing that I didn't mention is that you probably need some scales, kitchen scales. You might think like, I'm gonna get the app and the problem is solved. But if you're cooking at home, often you're gonna have to weigh your food. And if you don't weigh it accurately, again, you're gonna get the wrong data. So order kitchen scales for $10, $10. You don't need complicated scales. You don't need complicated apps. Keep it simple. Simplicity is the key for lasting change. Remember that for me, if it's the only thing you remember from this video. Keep things very simple. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, you can comment them down below in the comments. You can tell me which app you're using so I can give you my feedback for that app if you want. Whatever it is that you want my support for, you can always reach out. I'll be more than happy to help. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.